Well, hello and welcome to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my fabulous co host, Tracey.
Hey y'all, we're back together again.
I know I was sick last week. It was not nice. It was not nice, the things I was going through.
I definitely have my concerns.
And I'm so sorry that I missed that episode. I listened to it. I actually listened to it twice. And what an excellent guest Dr. Alana was. She was really a fabulous guest.
A joy, a pleasure. Honestly, I admire her so much. I'm so glad that she was able to come and drop some gems for us and provide a solution because I think a
Yeah.
lot of the things we talked about in the menopause series, people might start feeling like, well, is there hope? Is there
Hmm.
light at the end of the tunnel? So small changes like just changing your hair routine or what you ingest or put into your body, all that stuff can help, not just with menopause, but just overall health. So
So I recently had my hair dyed and I did it at the salon.
hmm
And when I say whatever that was, my ears broke out, my scalp and forehead. It's not like, oh my God, you see it. But you can tell a little that there's a little discoloration. The ears are really irritated. And I've never had a problem with hair dye. Never had a problem with hair dye. I'm not gonna, talk on my girl and what hair dye she used. I have no idea. But it is the first time that I ever had a big reaction. And I remember my
yeah,
mom about maybe 10 years ago, she had been using, what is it, Big Gin or Bingen
bye, Jen. Yeah,
for like ever, the powder, forever. Then went to go use it, totally broke her out. I mean, but like almost like burns. That's how
wow.
bad it broke her out. So she can't use that anymore. I'm like, oh, and body hormones, you don't know how your body is changing. And so, now I got to figure this part out.
hmm
Always something.
I know. Well, hopefully we get to a point where we can figure it out. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
I'm about to get a new style next week. I'm gonna take the braids out
mhm.
because I don't know what happened to my hair in the spring. It just broke off all around the like the perimeter. I don't even know what caused that. Hormones, chemicals, whatever. We gonna see.
Yeah. Well, I got my pixie bag because I
Okay.
wanted. Well, the last time we were together, I did have it then, but I did have it. Yeah, I had it because I had it for a while now, but I haven't seen you like in person in a while. That's crazy. But we had a great series. There was like so much feedback. So many women came up to me and said that they have learned so much about menopause with questions they didn't even know to ask,
Mm-hmm.
things, scenarios that they just really had like no idea. So I of course we're going to continue because there's like so many more conversations to be had. But I'm really
Exactly.
very proud of us that we did that for as long as we did. And people are it's so funny because somebody came up to me today and it was just like, I went onto your podcast just to see how fabulous you women were. Because why does everybody look so young? And
Listen,
y'all are that
listen.
old? I'm like, well, you don't gotta say we're that old like that, but
That's
yes, we are
funny.
up there in those numbers. But we're all striving to take care of ourselves, and it shows. And everyone said that all the women were just absolutely beautiful. So that was very
Aw,
sweet.
birds of a feather, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
So we definitely need to continue. We definitely need to continue
truly.
with that.
We have so much more to address. Like this, I feel like the 4 episodes were a tip of the iceberg. And, Dr. Stinson was kind enough to give us a code for her product. I'll remind you guys that it was Voices 15. If you go on Safo Hair website, so safohair.com. So we're just gonna have to bring more heat for y'all. We're gonna have to bring more experts, more real women, more conversation about this. What I found interesting was that we started intertwining the conversation about our first periods, motherhood, fertility, menopause. It all surfaced in this
Hmm.
conversation. So, so
Hmm.
much more to address.
Yeah, and I think when you really focus on women and our bodies, that's a never-ending conversation.
Mm-hmm.
and not just our bodies, but our mental state, how we're dealing with all. It's a never ending conversation. And especially for Black women, women of color, it's just so different. And we all always assume that every woman is going to be whatever it is the doctor says is the blueprint. But that's not the blueprint for everyone. And everybody's, journey is different, but it does, the external life, work, all those things play a part in how our body reacts. And that was probably the biggest lesson, because it's so hard to deal with external things, and
Yeah.
sometimes you think that you're dealing with external things and you're not, and your body's reacting to that whether you know it or not, which is
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah.
So what else has been going on, ma'am?
What else has been going on? A lot has been going on in in the world. So we've been really focusing on this menopause discussion, and we haven't been talking about the hot topics.
No.
And so much has gone on, but there are a couple things that we wanted to draw. I do want to acknowledge, though, before we dive into that, I want to acknowledge Men's Health Month. June as Men's Health Month, June as Pride Month, which we've, always been supporters and allies, and I also want to acknowledge it as Black Music Month too. So
Yeah.
there are a couple things that we didn't get to talk about yet this month, but I want to acknowledge all of those things. I mean, we talk about those things all throughout the year anyway, but just wanted to touch on that. But what hot topics do you want to talk about?
Well, speaking of Men's Mental Health Month,
Hmm.
let's talk about some men that have been going through some things and why they probably need to address their mental health.
What men are you talking about?
Let's start with Diddy, because his trial ended today. No, ended yesterday. And they were thinking about going into deliberations today, but I don't think that happened. I don't think it's going to happen until next week. And a lot of people did not understand what the charges were. Like RICO is the RICO charge, what is it? I should have wrote it down.
Racketeering,
Racketeering, which the lawyers actually said they want to put that on the back burner for the jurors, but the trafficking.
trafficking, arson.
So you know what? The one thing I didn't understand about the trafficking, and I still don't. You know what? We need to get a lawyer, and I know a couple of lawyers, but the trafficking part of trafficking in prostitutes, and most of them male prostitutes, to where they were going to be across state lines. Like I would think that if I'm paying for a prostitute
Hmm.
and I'm paying for them to come see me in Rhode Island and they're from California, I would not think that that was against the law for them to service me.
So I guess if it's illegal, and this begs the question, not that I'm trying to help him find a loophole, why didn't you just do all this in Las Vegas?
Because he was all, but again, a man like him or any man
Well,
of
he just wanted it
means.
on demand. He
Yeah,
just want
but it's like if you're in Florida for like 3 weeks and you decide, oh, I like Raphael from California. That's the dude that does all the things that I like. I want to fly him in. I feel like as a prostitute, one, I'm getting a free trip.
yeah.
I'm getting
Yeah,
a
you're
free trip,
listen,
and I'm getting thousands of dollars.
I support sex workers. Listen. I support a sex worker. So if you weren't brought against your will,
Mm-hmm.
I
So they're
mean,
saying that the trafficking comes in when that person says it could be one time, like, you know what, I don't feel like doing it. Like the the video that we saw of Cassie being beat, there were two, no, there was one man there, and he was like, after he saw her get beat, Diddy wanted to continue, Cassie did not want to continue, and then the male escort did not want to continue. So once they said no and Diddy was just like, no, I wanted to keep going on, that's trafficking.
you just taught me something because I did not know that.
Hmm. Once they, and that's all they have to prove in the court of law to say trafficking is if they said no at any time, no matter if they said no on Monday, but then happily did it on Tuesday, that no on Monday is trafficking.
Okay.
And I still don't understand that.
Noticed they dropped a few charges in the last couple of days.
Mhm.
What I struggle with is I know he's a terrible person. We all know he's a terrible person.
But the thing that he's on trial for are not the things I want him to go to jail for.
That part. That's why I'm like, I don't necessarily support the prosecution because I just feel like the charges are bullshit. A
Mhm,
lot of them.
mhm, mhm.
You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah,
it was domestic violence,
I'm
if it
all,
was
and I'm surprised they couldn't
intimidation,
do that.
but the whole ring, I don't know. It
Yeah.
just the charges felt a little exaggerated, and maybe by the letter of the law they are the appropriate charges,
Mhm.
but we all know the judicial system in the United States needs a serious revamp. So
Yeah. 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 And yeah, it's it it's like I said, I know I'm getting all tongue tied. The things I want him to be in court for, the abuse,
mhm.
the mind game.
The intimidation, that and the mind games are part of the abuse because that's emotional abuse.
Yes, those things that he did, and even how he manipulated the situation where she could not leave. I feel like that's a hostage situation. As far as I'm concerned, like, all her money was tied up in him, her whole career tied up in him.
Well,
But not just her, he did it to other people as well.
dragging her back to the room, that to me is kidnapping. Like I didn't hear
Yes.
kidnapping.
There was kidnapping charges,
Okay, there
but
was
again,
kidnapping.
with the kidnapping charges, they told the jurors to put that to the back burner because they don't feel like that they can really prove it. And I think it's because it's a relationship. It was a relationship.
If anyone watched that video and watched him drag her back to the room, that looks like kidnapping to me, but I don't know. Who am I? I'm not
Not
Maxine
necessarily
Shaw, attorney at
know
law.
if it, yeah, I mean, I would say kidnapping. I mean, it's definitely domestic violence. But what another thing is, I was very, very shocked about 50 Cent's ex-girlfriend and the mother of his child
Jane
being,
Doe.
yes, that was who that was. And the money that she was not getting from him, the fact that she felt like, I mean, she could have made so much more money, and she really wanted, I guess, a real relationship.
They
She
all
wanted to be the
wanted that.
last girl standing. She thought she would marry him. She took a lot. Those freak. I mean, he did those freak offs with all of those women, and I don't. I will not believe that there was a certain few that he did not do it with. It came out that he did it with Kim, and everybody thought, "Oh no, not Kim. She was the love of
Of
his
course,
life," and blah 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 blah.
I assumed as much.
I did as well. So the abuse and things go back, but I was very shocked that as a woman who had a child by somebody as rich
Mhm.
as 50 Cent, that he was pretty much so lowballing his own child that lives with her. Like Diddy pays her rent now, even to this day. He's still paying her rent, and for her lifestyle. And like she said, she had friends that were making like millions of dollars a day on OnlyFans, but he didn't want her to do that yet because, of course, he wants to control her. But I'm like, not for nothing. And not that a man should be involved in what his ex is doing, but your child lives with her.
She was getting K a month in child support.
And then she tried to, no, recently? No, I think she was getting a huge amount. And then she said she wanted more, and the judge reduced it. So she wasn't getting a lot of money.
Am I supposed to feel sorry for her?
Feeling sorry for her, but I'm saying it stunned me that he's not sustaining her and his child's lifestyle.
50,000 is not a
I don't think
month.
she's getting 50,000.
I
It was
thought that's what
lowered. She was getting.
That's what I heard. So from I've been watching the trial on Hulu. I watched the
Mhm.
recap with Sunny Hostin.
And I could have gotten it wrong.
And Teray, my understanding was that in addition to getting her rent paid by Diddy, the amount I heard was 50,000 in child support as well. So it to me,
Yeah, I would have to look it up again because again,
so
there's so
even if
many
they
different
reduced it,
places and so much different information.
even if they
And
reduced it, let's say they cut it in half to 25,000 a month. Ma'am, I don't know you. I don't know you from a hole in the wall on the street. $25,000 a month should be enough for you and your child.
and I
Since
think that's
you
what
don't,
her rent was.
but why? But why? But why? Because that's the lifestyle this woman wanted to maintain. And honestly, I thought she was an awful witness for the
No,
prosecution.
everybody said that she was an off, and if he gets off, it's going to be primarily because of her testimony, because she brought in so much reasonable doubt as to was he really kidnapping people? Was he really coercing people? Yeah,
And the thing is, you have to understand, he probably, I don't want to say evolved. He changed his tactics over time, is a
do
better
you
way.
think? I don't think he did.
Jane Doe never
Yeah,
indicated she was in physical danger.
yeah, he never hit her.
He
She
never
did
hit
say
her.
he never hit her. The only time he hit her is when she went upside his head, and I was like, "Go, girl."
Okay. So, and then, and again, the only reason she turned, I think, against him was because she didn't get a Chanel or something like that.
That was, yeah, it
But
was,
this is what I'm saying to
he
you.
was he was on, she saw him, and I think it was probably Carisha or
On
whatever,
social media, living it up because on her birthday, he made her do a freak off and did a small celebration. And then for somebody else's
and
birthday,
took
he
somebody
did
to Italy or
something
something.
bigger. So again, similar mirroring Cassie, and this is a lifestyle within the industry. I don't understand. Basically, as long as he was making you the main one, you would still be there, continuing to put up with the nonsense. But because you felt slighted in some way that
Yeah,
you're not the main one now, that's the
that's
other
true.
pattern that
That's
I'm
really
seeing.
how it came out. It's because that was Cassie's straw
Right.
that broke the
And
camel's back.
again, I'm not judging them, but I'm also saying you're not giving the jury much to work with against him if this is how you're talking because you sound crazy to the normal woman who goes to work every day and earns a paycheck and is not like literally being someone's toy to manipulate because this is a lifestyle that you want to keep living. Now, I'm the type of woman that if I was to lose my good paying job today, I'd go work at McDonald's and I go work at Whole Foods bagging food. Everyone's not cut out for that. But there are ways to make money that are not selling your soul to literally to the devil. You know what I mean? But I
I agree.
mean,
I agree. I mean, I just don't even understand. I know that they're young women. I mean, there's a difference. I try and look through the eyes of somebody who is like in their 20s, and they're all very young. I don't know what a person could say to me to make me be in these freak offs. I
it probably sounded cute the first time.
I really? I mean, several different men, countless hours, just drugged out of my
If you're
mind.
on
All which
ecstasy,
every orifices just full
listen, if you're
with
on ecstasy or
three
whatever,
penises.
it's like I said, it probably sounded exciting, intriguing the first time. And he
Well, they
let them
all said
pick
they
the
did
guys.
it because they wanted him to be happy.
Hmm.
And I get wanting, I don't think I ever wanted anybody to be that fucking happy more than me.
Yeah,
I mean, and I have been with some men where I have felt like, you know what, I've given up some of myself to please you.
yeah.
But three penises in my mouth, my ass, and my vagina, and then a fourth one just whizzing all over me, I don't think I would do that.
So
I know I wouldn't do it now, but I'm
I
talking
feel
about when I'm
like
very young.
that's not how he presented it. It was gonna be. So this is what and I'm making this up because I don't know this.
Okay.
It's like
How
him saying,
convince me.
it's like him saying, look at these guys, pick out a guy. I'm gonna watch you guys have sex, and I'm just gonna be over here in the corner telling you what I want you to do. That probably sounded cute to them at that moment. I didn't
Mhm.
think they knew it was gonna be ongoing, number
Right.
one. And number two, that it was gonna last. It was gonna be a freaking job. He told Jane Doe, like, do your job,
And he
basically.
said the same thing, and Cassie said it was her job. That was
That's
her job. But okay, so I got your scenario. And they all basically said, well, not all, but the two of them basically said that is exactly how it started.
hmm
So I get that scenario. So when man number two, and I know it was drugs that was also introduced that would kind of loosen them up. But when man number two came in, and they're strangers, and then man number three came in, and this is another stranger, and then then one, when do you say, you know what, this has gotten way more than what I had anticipated, my dear love.
which means you might have to go work at Whole Foods instead of being Diddy's sex slave,
Yeah, you're right, you're right. I
you
just,
know? And
you
but some people, some
degenerate.
people know how to dangle the carrot to the point where they give you can taste your dreams if you only do this,
Yeah,
if you only do that. So I
and
understand
that can
abuse.
feel,
Yeah, I understand the abuse can be psychological. It
yeah,
can be brainwashed. There's a woman right now, forgot her name. She to this day stands behind R. Kelly, and her parents were on TV the other day
yeah.
saying their daughter's brainwashed. And the girl got on there saying, I'm not brainwashed. I know exactly what I'm doing of my own free will. I love Robert, blah, blah, blah.
Well, also too, Robert's not doing the same ish that he was doing 15, 20 years ago, because he's in jail. So she can say he's changed, yeah, because he's in jail.
I don't know.
She can make those excuses for him because he's in jail.
Think too
The
that
power
we
is gone.
as a society, we have to start understanding that sometimes you want something so much that you will lose yourself. Like you said, you will
Yeah,
lose yourself for that thing and still not get the thing that you want. So we have to start reframing what we want and how we want to go about getting it.
getting
Do you
it.
know what I mean? Especially when it comes to money. Like I would rather be a pauper with my peace of mind and self control and my
And
own
self
free
respect.
will
Yeah,
than to be, mind you, if you love a freak off and that's what you want to do, go ahead.
exactly. And
Go
I
for
think
it.
and they did say at one point they loved doing it because it pleased him.
Probably got tired of it
But
after a while.
yeah, because it's a fucking job. It's not a
Yeah.
9 to 5. It was like a 3-day job, continuous, like insane.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of the things that he's on trial for are aren't necessarily what I think he should be on trial for.
That's
I
my
wish that it
issue.
was harsher. I wish it was for the abuse. I wish it was for, the beat downs. It's just,
Right. That's
yeah.
what I feel like we should be here for. I feel like the charges that they've brought against him, they just feel like they're inflated
Hmm.
and
The
hyperbole.
prostitute thing really is a stunner to me.
And
You
I
paying
didn't
to
hear
have a
anything.
prostitute come to you. That's
Did you hear anything about minors? Because there was a lot of stuff floating out there about minors. I didn't hear anything yet about minors.
no, no. There were no minors involved.
But
It
at
was,
the
I mean,
beginning,
like
that's what
even
people were saying.
even with Cassie, he didn't start physically touching her until she was 21.
Yeah.
Even though he at 18, she's old enough, but I think she met him at 17. But at 18, he still didn't. It wasn't until she was 21. That's from her account. That's what
Yeah.
she said. So he's still a degenerate. I mean, goddamn.
He is. And I don't think he's going to do that much time if he does any at all.
Yeah,
And I think he's going to recreate himself and he'll be back and people will support him again. So I'm just,
that part is sad.
yeah.
Yeah, that part is sad that people will continue to support him, because I think, like, even some of the things that he should be investigate what may have happened to Biggie, investigate how that whole
Tupac.
Shine thing went down,
Exactly.
investigate that Tupac. This man seems like he was extremely violent and was like, I mean, the whole thing with Kid Cudi's car. They
Yeah.
don't have any proof of that, so even and that was one of the charges that they say put that on the back burner because he was actually charged with the arson, but you all didn't investigate it at the time.
Right. Did
You
no one
know,
had cameras? Kid Cudi doesn't have any cameras on his
he came.
property.
You said he broke in your house and locked your dog in the bathroom. There was like
Right.
no cameras. I guess. I guess not.
I find it interesting that they just locked the dog and didn't do anything to the dog. Like that's an interesting detail to me. Not that I want anything bad to happen to the poor dog, but if he really wanted to be crazy, he could have done something terrible to the poor little doggy. So I think he just wanted to send a message.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you just don't know. People are degenerates.
And Kid Cudi backed off too,
Well, you know why he backed off?
because
Because
Cassie told
Cassie
him.
was still messing around with him and he didn't know that. So he was just like, oh, you're playing me. So he was mad. He was more mad at her than he was. Here he is coming in for the rescue to come save you. You're like, come get me. He knows about us, blah blah. And then the very next day, you're back with him. So he felt like a chump.
But I tell you what, if I was Cassie's mother and Sean Combs told me, wire me 10,000 or I'm sending a video of your daughter having sex with all these men to your work, I'd be like, send it, nigga. Go ahead. Send
Hmm.
that to my job. I will sue you from here to Timbuktu. Go send it.
Now I wonder if that's part of the crime. Because I mean, like, did she send the money?
She
They
sent
did.
the money. She took a mortgage, a home equity loan out of her house. So I don't know how much money Cassie was getting, but it wasn't even enough for her mom to have ten
So
thousand
he waited like what,
liquid
7 to
cash.
10 business days for that to happen?
No, I guess she whatever. So she sent the money and then he sent the money back because he was just manipulating all of them. But here's my thing. It's like this culture of shame and hiding and send it. Go on, send it.
Hmm.
Girl, please. I would have owned everything he owned. I would have took him to the cleaners because
Hmm.
you can't do something like
Because
that.
I
You
wouldn't need that job no more.
okay?
I would not need that
They
job.
need to now let that have been what's her name? Kardashian.
Hmm.
Chris Jenner would have been like, send it. Let's market it. Let's go.
Yeah.
But that just shows you Cassie's background that her parents were too ashamed of what might have leaked out about their girl. You didn't have a music career. Let's be clear. You had one song
Hmm. Hmm.
and you did a couple of movies. If anything, it probably would have elevated her. Look what it did for Kim Kardashian.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she could have got out of the situation. Her parents, they could have
She'll
all been
never
out.
get out. She was in love with that man until she walked out.
Mess,
She
mess.
didn't. She did not want to leave him. So that's again Mental Health Month. We need to
Mental
make that
health.
a
I hope
whole
he's getting some
year.
treatment in the jailhouse.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt it.
He
But
might
the
be
other
teaching.
shocker.
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go because we got more. There's two. Isn't there two more shockers?
No, is it? I got Tyler Perry. That was it.
You told me.
I said what?
You told me Fat Joe too.
I forgot about Fat Joe. I didn't even look his stuff up. I'll Google it while we're talking about Tyler Perry. So Tyler Perry is being sued by he's saying it's a money grab as well, and he's going to fight it, but he's being sued for $260 million from somebody who was in two of his TV shows, The Oval, and I can't think of the other one. Did you ever
Mm.
watch any of those shows? The
No.
Oval? Yeah, I never watched them either. I'm not a big I like Tyler Perry, but I don't like his stuff. I thought I liked Tyler Perry, but I don't like his stuff. But I'm also waiting out on the sideline for more of this to come out because it's a hot mess. But anyway, the guy's Derek Dixon. He's suing him for that amount of money, 260. That's a lot of money. He's saying that he got drunk one night and he spent the night at Tyler's house, and then Tyler
That's just
crawled into
I.
his bed, crawled into his bed and touched his thigh, maybe bumped up against him with a rod. I don't know. But I just, if this stuff is true, because I did listen to some of the some of the text, and I honestly didn't feel that they were like, oh my God, this is aggressive. The one thing I did find that I feel like he does have grounds for suit is that after the incident, he told him, I can get you I can get you your own show. And that he was in talks with like Netflix or somebody to get him a show. So you see the guy, you see the guy.
I see him.
It just
Listen,
comes off as like the
again,
dumbest
so
thing.
to me, Tyler could have his own freak offs. He could pay his own prostitutes, like men, women. I don't know what to make of this. I don't know Tyler Perry from a hole in the
Not
wall.
like
He
that.
he might be a predator. I don't know. I hope he's not. He does a lot for, and this is the issue that we struggle with in the black communities. When these people have done so much, like Sean Combs, complete asshole. He's done a lot for the culture. He's done
Hmm.
a lot for the culture. Bill Cosby has done so much for the culture. Tyler Perry, I don't know what Fat Joe has ever done for the culture, but
Hmm.
these people that we admire and look up to, it is just disheartening to think that they might not be the people we've built up in our head or the persona that they've presented to us. But people
Hmm.
are human. Tyler Perry might have gotten in bed with this man. I don't know. That's happened to my
But
regular
that's,
friends.
yeah, and that's not the issue. The issue is, and for him specifically, because from what this guy is saying, is that he repeatedly tried to like come up on him. How
Okay.
many times does a person have to tell you they're not interested? So that's where you have, to me, a legal problem, because once I said no, and then you kept coming up on me and you kept brushing your body against mine, or you kept sending me sexually charged, emails, and you're my boss,
Yes.
and you're my boss. Somebody on the street doing that is bad enough. But if you're my boss, that makes it 10 times worse. And honestly, in this age, in 25, in July 2020, you just seen a whole thing with Diddy. You just seen a whole thing with, Bill Cosby, Weinstein, Epstein, all of these people. Why are you still putting stuff down in an email? I mean, in a text? Do you just think that just because you delete that balloon that is gone forever?
I think that some people, once they have achieved a certain level of power, think that they are untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Tyler has gotten to that point. Maybe this is all BS. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I'm not making any strong accusation. I'm not, forming a strong opinion yet. My only opinion right now is like, if this is true, you're the dumbest motherfucker alive.
If it is true, he is definitely an idiot.
Because it's just no reason for it. And I didn't think he was married, but I thought he had a girlfriend. But I knew he was gay.
Who, Tyler?
Yeah, I always thought he was gay.
So that's been like an undercurrent. That's always been like and I was thinking maybe bisexual. I know he was sexually abused when he was a kid.
Oh, so I didn't know that.
I believe he was definitely physically abused, but I think there was also sexual abuse. And I, I don't know how all of that manifested in him as an adult, but and I don't know what his orientation is. To be honest, I could care less what that is. I just really and truly hope that, like you said, he's not going to, and he probably got 265 million to spare. Who knows? But
That's a hell of a lot of money still.
I just hope that he's not throwing away a legacy, like you said. But also, when you achieve a certain level, people are going to come for you. That's just a
And
given.
that's what he's basically saying.
People are going to come for you. If this guy can prove it, it's whatever. But
From the text, like, and it's so funny because I listen to the text, and then there's a couple of podcasters that I listen to, and I highly respect their opinion, and they were like, no, this is a no-brainer, he definitely did it, this is whatever. Then I listened to Don Lemon report, and he was talking to some guy from like TMZ, and they were reading the text, and they read them like I read them. Like, I don't see what you are really wanting me to see in these texts.
Mhm.
Were they sexually explicit? Yeah, they were, but they weren't like aggressive and demanding and like, like I would expect them to be like, I want you to do X, Y, and Z with me. It was more like when we tell a dirty joke to each other in text.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because women, I've seen similar kind of texts like that just between friends, like because it wasn't necessarily for you. He was like, "Oh, I'm like really horny, and I hate when I'm like this way, and blah 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 blah." And the guy was saying, "Well, I would just ignore that post." And then once a person ignores that post, then you should just like leave it alone. He obviously don't want to joke with you like that. So it was more like on that level than, to me, from how I read it, than how he would perceive it as being like, sexually aggressive. But again, it comes down to, it is his boss.
Right. So there's a
So
line you
as
shouldn't
his
cross.
boss, yeah.
Yeah, there's a line you shouldn't
You an
cross.
HR person,
But is it 265 million worth?
if you got it,
What
maybe.
was your how was that your level of suffering, sir?
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. So stupid Tyler Perry. Now for Fat Joe, unfortunately, his does involve a minor. So a former employee, Terrence, was it Terrence, was actually arrested first for assault and is suing the rapper for $20 million. Let me see. Let me get this, because it did involve a minor. So many DM. I'm gonna have to come back to this. I might,
Honestly, it's yeah, well, it probably will be developing. I'm just like, get it together.
because he's getting blackmailed. So there's a blackmail, and that person was arrested. That was his employee, and they're saying that they have like that Fat Joe was having an inappropriate relationship with minors, but it's not. Yeah, I don't think, I think this is still kind of developing.
Time will tell.
Two underage females had
Gen
sex.
X, get it together. Seriously. Gen X cis males, get your life. This is too much.
Get the mental health.
Because
Take
don't get me
advantage
wrong,
and use it all
a
year
lot of
long.
sketchy things happened in the 80s and 90s. We were both born in the 70s. A lot of sketchy things happened in the 80s. Wait, were you born in the 70s or 60s?
68.
Okay, so our age group, 60s, 70s, you grew up, came of age in the 80s and 90s. A lot of sketchy stuff went on. I dated some guys that were definitely too old for me.
Hmm.
And I don't want to say everybody was doing it, but it was kind of like, it kind of was happening. You
And it
know,
was gross then, and it still is.
it wasn't the right thing, but we really know better now. We
Yeah.
really know better now.
Hmm.
And especially when you're grown and then you really do. When you're in your teens and there's a little gray area between 16 and 19, you know what I mean? But when you're 50 and 55 and then the girl is 17, 18, that's too much. That's disgusting.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
no.
And to be truthful, like 17, 18-year-old girls sometimes be pushing up on these old ass men.
Well, I liked me an old boy,
Teachers,
an older
teachers,
boy.
yes, some teachers were fine as hell. But that is your responsibility to be like, to check her.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to be upset at a young girl if she has a crush on an older figure. That you see women in churches have crushes on those ministers all day, every single day, because it is people who have a level of power, and they're seen by everybody, that you develop, something for. But at the end of the day, you are that man. And if a 17, 18-year-old girl and you're 56 years old, 66, walk away. You're
Where are you
disgusting.
even at to be in the same circles with these young women?
Disgusting.
You're supposed to be 21 to get into a club.
Hmm.
Where are you at, your kids' high school? Where are you meeting these
They're
girls?
probably at the club too, because they be faking them IDs. And then a lot of the bouncers and stuff, if you are pretty enough, they know that ID is fake. They know that ID is fake. They gonna let you in.
And I want to say Fat Joe's married. Not, I guess not
I
that
don't
that
know. I
brings
think he is married.
anything to him, probably. And gross. Like, I'm just
But some 17-year-old girl up on I could I don't I you know what? The story's still developing. Let me hold off on my
already too
opinion
much time
because I
off.
was about ready to run him over.
Too much time off at Joe. What else we got?
That's that oh well. We'll start wrapping it up. But Karen Reed, finally. I mean, that had Boston in like a chokehold the last few months. You
So
paid no attention.
can I tell you that until last week or maybe this week, I had no idea anything about this case. I knew of it.
Hmm.
So I watched the HBO Max
Okay, yeah.
documentary and I was able to get it all in a nutshell. So while it was happening in real time,
Hmm.
like from 2022 or whenever it started till now, I paid no attention to it because I already knew that because of who she was, there was a certain level of privilege that was built in. Even though she was, appeared to kind of be getting railroaded a little bit too after watching the documentary. But you mentioned it, so I watched the documentary and I still don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened, but I don't think that she did it. I honestly don't feel that she did it. And then I also feel if she did do it,
It was an
you all
accident.
effed up so
Yeah.
badly. You did such a poor job, and you covered because there's you cannot tell me in 2025 or 2022 when everybody has a ring and that house had a ring, but that particular part of the ring video is gone.
And isn't he a detective?
All of them were cops.
He's a detective, didn't come out of his house when the whole police department was in the EMTs were on your lawn. You slept through that. You didn't come outside, and they were collecting evidence in Stop and Shop bag. Acquitted.
Let her go.
Let her
And
go.
like I said,
I
even if she did do it,
Yeah.
and prove it to me 100% that she did because you all did it so sloppy. I really feel like, you know what I really feel? This is just my gut feeling that, especially with all the decadence that we just been hearing lately, that was a swinging house.
I could see that. I
I
could
feel
see
like
that.
that was a swinging house because think about the woman that was calling her boyfriend. She had just met him that night and they were all supposed to be coming over there. And you blow up his phone like 15 times for a person that you don't know because they were supposed to be hooking up.
Yeah.
And that's
But
why she got mad and
and
went running off
the fact that this is their routine. They just go bar crawling, get blasted, drive drunk, all of them cops.
in a snowstorm.
Drive drunk,
In a snowstorm.
take the glass from the bar. That's how blasted you are. You're drinking in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then she admitted to having like, well, I think they said 7 drinks that night.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 7 to 9 drinks
Yeah.
that
It was,
night.
I mean, they were drinking
They
heavy.
were tore up. But the way that the body was laid out on the lawn, I don't understand how she could have backed into him and his
Mm-hmm.
body landed that way. That would have been my and her lawyers. I got to say, listen, if I ever end up in jail, Shahida, get her lawyer for me, please.
They in Boston too, so.
Because her legal firm came with the heat and the prosecution didn't have jack. They were terrible.
And you know what made, because remember somebody was saying that she said I hit him. I think she might have hit him,
She probably
but she
did.
might have tapped him. I don't think she hit
And
him.
I definitely think he threw that glass at her,
Exactly. Me
which
too.
also could have broke the thing. But then they showed the video of her backing into his car and she thinks that might, so it might have, let's say it cracked, but it didn't
Mm-hmm.
break
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't see anything on the ground from when
No.
she backed in. So it could have cracked at that moment. And then, maybe that was at the moment where something happened and the pieces fell out. But it just seemed like it was, maybe they don't see that kind of crime often enough. They're not experienced to
Mm-hmm.
do that type of investigation. But I agree with you. Something nefarious, I
Mm-hmm.
think, goes on at that residence. And the way she was flirting with the other guy, listen, and you know what? To her, in
Neither.
her defense, she said, I am not married to that man. I'm not engaged to that man. I'm still single and you are single. And if we hook up, I don't owe anybody anything because ain't no rings on these fingers.
Hmm. I ain't mad at her. Wasn't mad at her.
She's off the hook.
They
I gotta tell you, that lady is off the hook. That whole town, that's what you call townies. That's what you call townie.
And how many times have we like been in and out of camp? That's what I'm saying. You just don't know what's going on in people's homes because I feel 100% that there was a whole lot of nastiness going, and that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. But when it comes to murder and covering it up, then there's a problem.
My thing is, why
And you're
wasn't his,
cops.
if she hit him with the car, why wasn't his body in the street? That just seems like a no-brainer.
Well, no, I think because she was doing a what do you call it?
Oh, a 3-point turn
Yeah, she was doing a 3-point turn.
on the
So he would have been
sidewalk.
standing there. No, well, because it was snowing too, so it was a hot mess outside. So I think she was doing a 3-point turn, and then coming back, he would have fallen onto the lawn, and I think she tapped him, but she did not hit him hard enough.
He didn't break his legs. He didn't break his arms. None of that. And he had those weird contusions on his arm.
But wasn't his face beat up?
I don't know. They focused on the arm a lot.
Okay, okay,
And the arm did look like bite.
yeah, yeah, because that's when they were saying they thought it was from the dog, and then it
The
was like,
dog they miraculously got rid of
and it was
right
two.
after that.
And then there was something else too that should have been like video. It was just evidence was just disappearing, and the evidence that would show who did this disappeared. So that made me think that it wasn't her as well, because if this is your house and you have your ring and it's just that, I mean, my ring doesn't stop working.
Not only that, but shouldn't you have a better surveillance system than the ring if you work for the police department? That's what I use as a civilian who has
And it picks up everything.
it. Girl, people walking their dog. Someone's at your front door. Like,
A fox running across the road.
right.
I got it on.
Yeah.
My ring picked up a mouse trying to get into my house.
Somebody said that bugs sometimes set their ring off. Like bugs flying near the thing. So the sensor is very sensitive, but you would think that if you're big up in law enforcement and people might
Mhm.
be wanting to come for you, that you'd have some kind of it's neither here nor there. And then they never searched the house.
Nope, never, never.
Because privilege, this whole
Yep.
case got foiled because of privilege. Privilege
And
that
also
she
too, shitty ass detectives. Let's be clear. A lot of these police officers, I'm sorry, I know there are some good police officers, but a lot of you do not know your job. Don't
what
do it
about
well.
the guy whose job it is to he was some kind of like expert for the police department. They were like, and what's your education exactly? He was like, I have an associate's, and it's not even, it's like judicial
I didn't hear that
administration.
part. I
Nothing to
didn't
do
hear that
with the
part. Oh
job
my
that
god.
he's doing. And what it smells like is he got that degree while he was with the police department. He didn't come in there with that degree. And then that was the prosecutor's witness. And so when the defense came to cross-examine, they brought in experts that have like a master's degree in this and
Mhm,
that in the
mhm.
same subject, and were like, well, we disagree with what your findings because this is what we found. Her lawyers, those were some bad mama jammas. You hear me? I loved
But
her
look what they were
lawyers.
going up against though. Keystone cops. I mean, they weren't going up there against
Oh
anybody.
my goodness. Did you hear the part about the state trooper and the text messages he was having with his boss and his coworkers talking about she had a flat behind? Sir. And I know you don't expect your personal text messages to go, but you have no decorum as a professional to not just be saying, yeah, she's hot, but she got a flat booty. This
Let me see yours. Let me see
okay.
yours, sir.
I'm like, compared to what though?
I'm just kind of proud that he was looking for a booty because most of these, white guys, especially from fucking Canton in these little small towns, they want you to be this big.
Off the whole thing was off the chain. The whole
It
trial
was.
was off the chain.
And she
But
did she got a film deal.
she's
So,
feisty. She is a feisty one. I got to hand it
but
to her. I came out of it kind of like on her side.
I definitely did. I definitely did. But she's just so Massachusetts. Like
She's again Italian.
so South Shore. She's
Even though she's
all
a
of it.
professor, even though she's probably upper middle class, she is
Hmm.
ghetto.
She really was. She
She's
really
ghetto in
was.
a good way.
And
But
I ain't
that
mad at her.
watching that brought me down the rabbit hole of watching the Sherry Papini documentary.
Okay, yeah,
Did
you
you ever
saw me. I
follow that
forgot
story?
that I had watched that, but I did.
I would like to slap that lady if I had an opportunity.
Refresh. She was the one that kidnapped herself, or
She says she did not kidnap herself, but evidence points towards she was getting ready to run off with her boyfriend, the same guy who she alleges kidnapped her. They were going to run away together anyway.
okay. Yeah, and I do feel like a lot of these like documentaries, like Karen Reed, Sherry Papini's, what the woman, the con artist woman from New York or whatever, that those particular cases, because of this color of their skin, they those are true crimes, and a lot of people get really hurt in those crimes, but the way that they're presented to us as, like, joking and funny, and, like, we take the reality out of it, and we don't
Hmm.
really see that, these. But if it was a black person or a person of color, even some, it's, I don't know, I don't like that they get famous, they're able to build up a big following based on their crimes, and some of their crimes are bad. Like Karen Reed, I'm not going to put her in that same category, because she's
Yeah.
about to make $1 million and more, because her stuff is getting ready to be turned into a movie. Get it? But some of these, I think I was looking at one where this woman, she was like the big vegan
I saw
thing
that
in New
one.
York. That was really good. And then now she's doing like this tour, how she was saying it was the man who was abusing her, and that was why she was doing all that she
That's
was
why you
doing.
didn't pay your employees.
It's a hot mess. They too much, too much. I'm a little bit tired of them kind of like focusing on all these white women in their
Yeah,
crime.
I like a nice true crime where no one's murdered, like an Anna Delvey. That's my kind of true crime.
I do not like that woman. I do
She's
not like that
terrible,
woman.
but she's wicked smart. She's so smart. She outsmarted all those people, and I love that for, I mean, I guess for
But
her.
it's, if you are a white person, to outsmart another white person is extremely easy,
Yeah.
because when you walk into the door, they only expect you to be whatever you say that you are, and don't have an accent. But what about that man who pretended to be a doctor for like his entire life, never graduated high
Mm.
school, became chief of staff of a hospital in California, and didn't even know how to do a bandage on somebody. To me, it's absolutely insane, the shit that they can get away with, only because it's really just based in color.
There was a black guy that got away with that in Florida. He was
And
actually
he was a
really young.
kid.
He was a
He was a
kid. He was
kid.
young. I loved that. You know, I love a fun scam story where people don't actually get hurt.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I love the Scam Goddess podcast and things like that. People, it's like truth is often stranger than fiction, and I mean, we're seeing a lot of that. But Sherry Papini, I, I, I wish she was under the jail right now.
We gotta wrap it up.
Yeah, we
It
do.
is so. Until next time, people. I know that was like, ugh, gotta go. I
Yeah,
got
that's it.
sorry.
All good. You know where to find us. You know where to find our episodes at Little State Big Voices on Facebook, on Instagram, not on TikTok. I think y'all president gave y'all extra 90 days, so we were just
That
like,
is,
yeah,
don't be suckers. Don't be suckers. But anyway,
no,
have a great week, and we will see you next week.
next week.